What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the We'll See You Later podcast, episode 44, brought to you by Happy's Energy and Nutrition, the best energy and nutrition on the entire planet.
Also brought to you by Liberton Home Repairs, quality home repairs you can trust here in Little Rock, Arkansas. Give them a call at 405-600-8363. That is Liberton Home Repairs.
My name is Willie Ray. This is Jeremy Wilson. I warned you. You didn't want me to come back on here if a certain thing happened. It be happening.
Now, half of it happened to where Will won't roast you completely.
Right. Big Blue Nation, that was just satire. Come on, you guys are too easy. I knew all I had to do was troll you a little bit, and they went nuts in the comments.
Yes, they did.
It's too much fun. Jeremy,
yes,
there is one double-digit seed left in March Madness. Do you have any idea who that is?
I wonder.
Our beloved Arkansas Razorbacks are back in the Sweet 16 for the fourth time in the last 5 years in year number one of the Calipari era. If I may steal a phrase, they had us in the coffin. They forgot the nails.
I want to make a shirt that says that right now.
I feel like you see all these shooting shirts that the NCAA tournament gives you with some kind of corny thing on the front of it.
They should put, they forgot the nails.
Arkansas should say forgot the nails. Throwing that out there. You're welcome.
And just have like the A and it's nails.
This is a much bigger deal than what we're planning out to be. Full disclosure, if you kept up with the Facebook Lives, we watched the game together here at the We'll See You Later studios at Happy's Energy and Nutrition in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody walked past the window of Happy's Energy and Nutrition during this game, they saw two crazy-ass white boys losing their ever-loving minds.
Yeah, we were going crazy.
The round of 32 against Kansas was what it was. Just a great basketball game.
Yeah.
But if you watch the podcast, it's not humble bragging or even bragging. I think a couple blind squirrels found a nut.
Happens sometimes.
Yeah, we pretty much played out for you what was going to happen
for both games.
During the pregame, I went live and we spoke about how there was one of two ways this could go, and that officiating would play a part because both teams were so physical.
Mm-hmm.
In the first half, they were actually praised for how they handled the first half. Charles Barkley said, well, this is great officiating. They're letting them play. It's super physical.
I think both teams were in the 1-1 by the end of the...
Yeah, they swallowed the whistle, let them play.
Probably 14, 15 fouls total called that first half.
They swallowed the whistle and let them play. Then the Trevin Brazil situation happened. And Trevin Brazil got called for a bogus technical foul when he was shoved with both hands in the back and retaliated and got called for a technical.
Yeah.
After they went to the monitor. So if he's going to get called for a technical because you saw the retaliation, that's fine. But when you go to the monitor and see he was shoved first, if you're going to assess a technical, which I don't think that warranted it anyway on either side, but if you're going to give it to one, you got to give it to both.
Yeah, it should have been a double technical, if anything, just to set the precedent. This is not allowed. It was bogus, but if we're going to be honest, the refs in that second half, I don't know what happened for them to shift it.
Yeah, there was clear overcorrection,
but
once the Trevin Brazil stuff happened, I felt like it was
ticky-tack.
What they're going to say is that they tried to put a lid on it.
Yeah, they tried to tighten it up
to make sure that it doesn't get chippy. What ended up happening is they hijacked a damn good basketball game.
They did. The last 10 minutes of that game, I think, lasted like 45 minutes because of the amount of fouls called. So we had 15-ish fouls in the first half. We ended with over 40. So you can do the math there. That's a lot of fouls.
I don't have the free throw numbers in front of me, but they were astronomical for both teams.
Free throws. Arkansas goes 19 of 27. And St. John's goes 22 of 31. So 27 and 31. 58 free throws.
Freaking free throws.
And they were in the 1-1 in the first half. So it just shows you where all those
was a complete
second half
correction, and it made it unwatchable. Like if I didn't,
it saved St. John's.
If I didn't have vested interest, I'm not watching that.
Yeah, I will say that it was and everybody, it's not just us complaining about that. It's like Arkansas fans. That was all over the internet, is how the refs are hijacking the game. But I think they had...
On both sides, let's be clear. Yeah. On both sides. But the fact of the matter remains, Arkansas may win this game by 20 if it's called the way it was called in the first half.
That's what I was going to go with it. If we look at the numbers, Arkansas ends up winning at 75-66. Hogs were at 43% field goal percentage. St. John's was 28%. The best thing for us that did happen was because St. John's can't shoot threes, we couldn't either. We went 2 for 19 from 3. They went 2 for 22. Free throws, 19 of 27 for Arkansas, 22 of 31 for them. Rebounding was where we were. Their offensive rebounding, our defensive rebounding. They did out-rebound us 51-45.
They had 28 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We did have – listen to this number. This is to show you how physical this was. They had 38 points in the paint. We had 46. I mean, it was we're going in the paint, getting dirty, getting nasty, and they started calling them. In the first half, they let them play and bang. I like that kind of basketball. I honestly think that the refs tightened it up after Trevor Brazil, but they also tightened it up to save St. John's because St. John's can't hit anything on their first shot. It's got to be a foul off the first shot, or it's going to have to be after the rebound.
Exactly. I have never watched a basketball game and where you heard me say it multiple times. If they're taking a 3-point shot, this is a win.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to live with it if they make it because they're not going to.
And I wish we would have stopped taking them as well and just kept going to the paint, but it is what it is. We win the game. I'm happy.
Right.
You know,
moving on to the Sweet 16, individual performances. I mean, just to drive home what we're saying about the foul situation, Zvonimir Ivicic was on the floor like 9 minutes of total basketball, fouled out.
Yeah.
Jonas Adu in and out with foul trouble the
All
whole
day.
game.
Miraculously, the best player on St. John's team never got in foul trouble, who was a big man, which was kind of like, what are we doing?
An absolute bull in a china closet, too.
Yeah, and that he wasn't getting his calls, which was kind of weird and ironic that he wasn't getting them because he was the only one putting up numbers.
EP44. Now he's a grown man.
He's a beast.
And so, I mean, by the end of the game, there were times when you had Brazil playing the 5, and then you had, was it Carter Knox playing the 4?
Yeah.
I mean, you had to, out of necessity, go very, very small.
Yeah. Then you had Billy, DJ, and John L with Boogie kind of rotating through.
Right, and game ball goes to really both freshmen for me. Carter Knox and Billy Richmond both grew up right before our eyes,
which is wild because we pre-game talked about, is one of them or both of them going to be able to have that game? Because against Kansas, Carter Knox was almost gone. Like, he didn't do much. Turnovers.
He was kind of a negative effect.
Yeah, he had no rhythm against Kansas, and then to come in and dominate against St. John's with block parties, with defensive rebounding, with shots, and then to have Billy Richmond, who, yes, we know he's sporadic and he's going to turn the ball over. He's going to do it.
You have to live with it for this.
They talked about it. John did after as a leader, DJ Wagner, if we set up a lob play, DJ will not throw it if it's not there. Billy will throw it.
Right.
He said, Billy going to throw that. Like, that's just Billy trusts his team. Billy trusts himself.
Billy trusts himself a lot.
But Billy going to make mistakes, but Billy's going to go 100 miles an hour. And then Billy's going to win you a game every now and again, and that's what he did at St. John's. 16 points, highest of the season for him. Whenever Jonas Adu, who went from being the MVP of the Kansas game to almost absent in this game.
It wasn't his fault.
No, but it's just like the switch. We needed Jonas to be that guy, but he couldn't be that guy.
When he was in, he was balling. Like, it's just in and out because of foul trouble. And then playing down the stretch with 4 fouls, knowing how valuable you are, you're not allowed to be physical.
Yeah. So those guys stepped up in a big way. Hogs win. Now Hogs play Thursday against the number 3 seed in this bracket, Texas Tech, who's 27-8. It's a 5.5 point spread. I'm going to give you a couple things about Texas Tech, and then Willie, we're going to get your thoughts on it. They played first round UNC Wilmington, and they won 82-72. We're going to go, just listen to these numbers.
That game was tight throughout, by the way.
And listen to this, like the tale of 2 games for them. They shot 40% field goal percentage against UNC Wilmington. They went, you're not, this isn't a mess up here. They went 13 for 46 from 3.
Program record for threes, which believable. Why would you shoot 46 threes?
for 46. They went 15 of 23 from the free throw line, 41 rebounds, and 24 points. They win the game by 10, which should show that defensively they struggled. Like this was a 3-14 matchup, and they struggled to stop these guys from scoring, which is a good sign for us. Then they played Drake, arguably the second best defensive team in this tournament. Win 77-64. They kind of ran away a little late. They shot 53% field goal percentage, but remember, they just went 13 of 46 2 days ago. They went 2 of 14 the next day.
There was a concerted effort to say we're not going to do that again.
Right. And so 2 for 14. They went 19 of 22 from the free throw line, 33 rebounds, and the entire game switched 50 points in the paint.
Not to point out, but 2 for 14 is still bad. They made a concerted effort to go inside. And why wouldn't you when the Big 12 Player of the Year is a forward on your team, JT Toppin?
Yeah.
That's who. Now, Texas Tech also they have the Big 12 Player of the Year. They have the Big 12 assist leader and also the Big 12 leader in 3-point percentage. All three of these guys are different players.
Yeah.
So it's not one guy who's loading up on all the stats. They're pretty well balanced, but make no mistake, Toppin's what makes them go.
Yeah, they can do it from all aspects. Is the main part of this offense is they can shoot those threes and win the game, but they can also pound the paint. So we're gonna have to guard the entire half of our court. I won't say the entire floor, but
and clearly, if you allow them to, they'll shoot themselves out of it.
Yes. So that's what we're going to have to do because Arkansas, what we do really well, and I think that Drake's just so sound on defense that you have to go inside to beat them because they were bigger than Drake, is we're going to have to crash out. The big thing that I see for us that is going to, if they're hot from the three, we can't, this pick and roll situation that we're not the best at because DJ Wagner, he loves to jump under the screen, so he'll leave the three open. And if they're hot, we're screwed. And then he'll hop over, but he's trailing that little dump off right there, that little pick and roll dump, the little bounce pass, getting the big man to the basket where he'll get fouled or he'll score. We will have to handle that all day. Like that's going to have to be a massive emphasis for us. This team, for me, I want to have the battle in the paint. I want to have a game like we just had with St. John's because I don't want to have to try to shoot with someone who can go 13 threes.
Right.
We can't have that.
Because the fact of the matter is that if St. John's even has a decent day shooting the ball,
they probably win.
They're in the Sweet 16.
They win. Like we win by 9. We pulled away late, but they went 2 of 22 from 3. I don't know if Texas Tech's going to do that again, but we went 2 of 19. Like we sucked just as bad from the 3-point line. If we hit 6 to 10 threes, I love our spot.
All right. Coaches are fond of saying you don't have to make them all. You just can't miss them all.
And we tried. But we pound the paint 46 points. Their last game, they pounded the paint 50 points. This could be a very physical game, just like we saw with St. John's, but Texas Tech is more physical, more athletic.
I want that, but for the love of God, let them play.
Yeah, the refs are going to have to stay out of this or we're going to be seeing a lot of backups playing. The bracket. We did not give you a perfect bracket. We do not apologize for that, but we have missed 5 total games. That's not bad.
Yeah, if you're counting, that's, pretty good percentage.
And we have a Sweet 14, and that's honestly because we did a coin flip on Troy. Troy kind of screwed us here.
Which was, honestly, that was just satire.
Yes.
Big Blue Nation, you guys are so easy.
We flipped for Kentucky to lose to Troy, and we had Illinois beating Troy. If Kentucky was here, I think we would have picked Kentucky to win. I actually am hoping and praying that the perfect bracket for us does exist where Kentucky and Arkansas meet in the national championship. That would be the best ever. I don't think it's going to happen.
These two states would explode.
But it would be the best matchup out of this tournament.
Now, full disclosure, I hope our bracket gets destroyed down there in the corner. We picked this matchup in the Sweet 16 with Arkansas and Texas Tech. I hope we were wrong because we took Texas Tech. I got to be real with you. The only reason I took Texas Tech was, and I'm not speaking for Jeremy, but I will say the only reason that I took Texas Tech was because we are an Arkansas-based podcast. We're Arkansas fans, and Arkansas is a 10 seed. I know they're better than a 10 seed. I know how they're playing. I know they're getting healthy. I know they're not a 10 seed, but that's what the number is. And if I took a 10 seed to go to the Elite Eight, it just happened to be my team, everybody would say, man, come on, this isn't serious. So I almost felt obligated to take Texas Tech. Having said that, Arkansas might be better than Texas Tech, depending on a few things happening.
Yeah, we also talked about how whenever we made this pick of Texas Tech beating Arkansas, it was not a talent perspective. It was also at the time of this bracket coming out, we did not know what we were going to get out of Boogie Flan. And there were 7 bodies that we had. So what we did say is at this point, we thought we would run out of legs.
Which isn't a thing anymore.
Right. We, at the time, Boogie was maybe 5 to 8 minute guy that's just going to give us a couple minutes here and there. He turned into a 20-minute guy pretty quick. But Adu Thero possibly making a comeback. Not sure what kind of production we will get out of him minute-wise because it's a knee. We don't want him to get hurt. If he's playing, by the way, he has to be 100% healthy. Like, there's no way a doctor, Cal, and him are going to risk his future for a shot at the Elite Eight. I don't think.
Clearly, these photos that are coming out and these videos that were coming out last week of him being in practice.
Yeah.
Just my guess is that this past week was all about knocking the rust off in case we get to the Sweet 16. And I would expect him to play.
I expect him to play because they teased it. And I think Cal did that just to mess with St. John's, so they had to prepare possibly for another person out there. But I do believe if they're teasing it and he's practicing, he'll give us something. You don't know his shape. Obviously, he's a freak athlete, but we don't know his cardio shape. He is the most explosive player on the court. Can he still do that with a knee injury?
He needs his knees. And more importantly, even if his knees heal, he's got to have confidence in the ability
that it's going to be there.
The ability to take off, cut, change speeds. The confidence has to be there. I'm with you though. I know how Cal feels about his players. I don't think he plays Adu unless it's.
You got to be 100%.
You're medically cleared. First of all, you got to be medically cleared. But I don't think he'll put him in if he's in a position where he'll make a fool of himself.
Yeah, or he could injure himself for his future. Cal's all about moving these guys' futures, like 100%. Cal is a player's coach. He'll do what's right for the player before he does what's right for him. That's just, I think, who Cal is. But if Thero's here, then our theory of Arkansas won't have the legs is actually reversed. So
they're back to the 9-man rotation that they wanted all year.
Exactly. And so this is going to come down to physicality, foul trouble, and can we keep them off the 3-point line long enough to stay in a game? And can we hit something? Can we get a John L. Davis and a Boogie to hit more than 1 3 each, and that's the game? Can we have a Trevin Brazile from the corner hit a couple threes? Can we have a Carter Knox in the corner? Can we just pull up 6, 7, 8 threes in this game?
Had to make a ton. Never had to make a ton.
6, 7, 8. And can we, for the love of all things, with the last 8 minutes of a game, can DJ Wagner sprint down the court? I know you're tired. You are the fastest guy on the court, and you slow up and let them set their defense, and then we get crappy shots. Can you just do you, boo-boo, and take it to the rack? Because nobody in this tournament, I'm saying it right now, there is not one team that you can't beat their player one-on-one to the basket and draw some sort of contact or have somebody there to bail you out at the rim. To me, I think you're the most explosive player on the court when it comes to your first step around somebody. They don't know what happened.
Yeah, I give him credit for a calming influence running the offense. That's the best pure point guard as far as running an offense. When he's got the ball in his hands, we're okay. I'm with you. I wish he'd hit the gas a little bit more.
Not every play, but it does. He does slow down a little bit.
Half of our offense, it feels like, is DJ getting to the rack.
Yes,
it's a huge part of our offense. He finishes as well as anybody in the country when he gets to the cup.
Yeah, when DJ's attacking, and that happens in the first half so much. So many things happen from there. It's not just him scoring. There's kickouts in the corner. There's open shots that he can develop. There's rebounds, putbacks. Brazile normally puts his putback nasty dunks off of a DJ drive. those just go away the last 10 minutes of a game, and we literally go to a half-court offense. Against Kansas, when we went on a spell, when they dropped to a zone, we kept doing it, and I'm screaming at the TV just to push the pace so they can't set the defense. But we kept slowing down. So sometimes I don't know if this is Cal's thing, is he wants to extend this game and let the clock run and run a different kind of, I don't know. But I think we operate at our best fast.
Fast, yeah.
And just go. As soon as we get a rebound, if we're ahead, we've got numbers, take off. I don't care if we're down 2. I don't care if we're up 8 and there's 6 minutes to go. Take it to the rack. And trust your defense. I'd rather put the ball in the basket and trust my defense than waste a whole possession on offense.
And it's easy to trust your defense when in 2 games your defense has been great.
Unbelievable. So, Texas Tech, big, physical, can shoot, can get to the paint. They can do it all. Can they put it together? Can Arkansas have a little bit of luck here and get a bad shooting Texas Tech team to where we might not have to shoot them out of the gym and we might not have to compete that way, but we can stay physical in the paint. And I think our bigs can handle their bigs, and it will be a matchup from hell. Like, I think in the paint, it's going to be a physical fight. I think Jonas Adu, I think Brazil, and I think we can spell out with Big Z coming in, getting some fouls and a couple minutes to just eat clock. I think Carter Knox has to have another big game. And I think that wild card with Adu, I think Thero is going to come in and do some work.
Something else that needs to be said about Ivisic is at some point you're going to have to give us something offensively.
Yeah. He gave us 1 jump shot and then 5 fouls.
Yeah, at some point you're going to have to.
He had a breakout this year, so he's due.
When you're counting on being able to keep up with a team that can kind of shoot it, at some point, Ivisic is going to have to go back to being that almost 50% 3-point shooter and not go off for 5 or 6, but give me 1 or 2.
Yeah. So it's a 9:00 tip-off because they're playing in San Fran, so it's going to be a late one on Thursday. But
I've already called in on Friday. Wink, wink.
So we're going to go kind of through our bracket here. Auburn and Michigan. We had A&M here. We still feeling Auburn in this?
Yeah.
I do think so as well.
But tight, though.
Okay.
Tight, especially if Chaz Baker Mazzaro is, to quote Bruce Pearl, got a bony ass.
Yeah.
So if he's hampered at all moving around,
it's going to be a tough one.
That'll be tough. He's Auburn's most important player. He just is.
Ole Miss and Michigan State. We had this picked.
I actually love this matchup. The way that Ole Miss is playing, I love this matchup.
Ole Miss won big, 91-78 over Iowa State. Iowa State not having one of their best players. We said it would catch them. We did pick this one. We still have Michigan State. I have Michigan State beating Auburn to go to the Final Four here. So we're still riding that. Michigan State did look vulnerable for 30 minutes of this game against New Mexico, and then they turned it on a little bit late to win it.
Little Patino had them ready to play.
Yeah, he did. New Mexico was feeling it. Florida, Maryland at the bottom. We're still rocking Florida.
Now let's talk about Maryland, though, because this Maryland CSU game was the game of the tournament.
It was. Maryland and Colorado State. The game has been tight the entire game. Maryland has made a push to take the lead by 2. There's 11 seconds to go in the game. Colorado State calls timeout, gets the ball to their best player, who you're thinking is about to go one-on-one and hit the game-tying shot, and we're going into overtime. Instead, they have him setting it up. He's the decoy, but he has the ball. They have a back pick on the other side. He skips it across the court to their shooter, who buries a 3.
From every bit of 30 feet.
And it didn't even touch the rim.
Every bit.
Didn't touch the rim. Unbelievable that he hits the shot with 6 seconds to go. Maryland goes down, calls timeout, 3-second play, gets in the huddle. Now we found out after the game. By the way, the past 4 losses for Maryland were all buzzer beaters.
Right.
The past 4 losses, they were on the wrong side of a buzzer beater.
And we're not even going into their history where they've been beat on buzzer beaters in March a
ton. And so Maryland draws up a play to not their senior leadership best players, but to their best athlete, who's a freshman, who once you hear him speak, he sounds like a kid, like a child. Still had braces on. This kid.
I was going to say, in the face, he looks like he's
13.
Ferdinand the Bull.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Little bitty, timid looking guy, but man, built like a brick, you know what? Monster.
Gets the ball at the top of the key, hits a little, I don't even know. He's driving to the rack, but he ends up fading away. But kiss off the glass as the horn goes off. game winner for Maryland. Unbelievable shot. Coach, they asked him after the game, Coach, you've got all these seniors on this team. What made you go to him? He said, in the huddle, I said, who wants it? And he stepped up and said, give me the MF and ball. And he said, okay. And then they asked the kid, he's an 18-year-old kid, asked him, what gave you the confidence? He said, I'm from Baltimore, I guess. That's just what we do. He's a Maryland homegrown product who just won him a game to send him to the Sweet 16.
Stayed close to home when he could have gone anywhere. This is Derek Queen.
Derek Queen.
Grown ass man.
Minus his face and his voice.
Right.
Then he's a kid, which is incredible.
You forget these guys are babies.
He's 18.
Yeah.
He's huge, though. It was insane to watch. I was so happy that a guy like that hit the shot. I was also happy because I had money on the game, had a big win. But
Derek Queen is, if you look at mock drafts, he's a lottery pick. So clearly his most talented guy.
But to have the confidence as a coach to have your season on the line and you have two seniors on that team who are the leaders of that group. Yeah, and for him to step in and say, give me the ball, and the coach listen to that and go, okay, let's do it, was incredible. I became a Maryland fan instantly after seeing and hearing how they did that.
He didn't get emotionally involved, meaning like, oh, I'm going to let one of our seniors take the last shot. No, give the ball to your best player.
Yeah.
Give the ball to your best player.
Because, they had their best shooter was doubled. This was a one-on-one shot.
He could shoot that ball 100 times in a gym, and he's making it less than 50% of the time. It was a difficult shot.
Yeah.
With two guys hanging on him, and he's fading backwards.
Colorado State's, that was the defense did everything right but blocked the ball. The hand was literally half an inch away from blocking the ball. It was just, I don't think it was unguardable.
Those last 15 seconds on both possessions on both ends were well defended and just a better offensive play.
So Florida, Maryland, we're picking Florida because we just have them going. This is going to be a good one. I think Maryland they struggled against Colorado State, but I also think Colorado State forced them to struggle. I think that Florida and Maryland will be one heck of a matchup.
I do too. After watching 40 minutes of Derek Queen, I don't know that Florida has a guy on that roster as talented as they are.
Yeah.
I don't know that one guy is containing him.
Right. So, I'm going to stick with Florida here, but don't be surprised.
With a really big win over UConn, and Dan Hurley, you're a clown.
That is true. We did pick Texas Tech over Arkansas. I'm telling you now, damn this bracket. I'm picking Arkansas here. I think that we can do this.
Hogs by 91.
I'm just saying, I think we can do this with how Texas Tech is sporadic. They're big and physical. I don't think teams realize how big and physical we are.
No, and here's the thing. Cal talked about it. He said, how many times during SEC play did we have opposing coaches and opposing players talk about how physical we ended up being?
Yeah. I think that we are one of the most physical teams in this country, and we're a 10 seed. And technically right now we're the 2 seed, by the way. We're now filling the role of a 2 seed.
Here's the thing. At this point in the Sweet 16, we ignore all numbers. We ignore all numbers next to the names. Arkansas is not a 10 seed. They never were the talent of a 10 seed. Arkansas got healthy at the right time and is playing their best basketball right now with a Hall of Fame coach who seems to be having the time of his life.
Yeah, he seems to be having a really good time.
And these players are having the time of their lives. They're an easy team to root for right now. For those of you guys that don't have a dog in the fight, there's only one double-digit seed left. We got room on the bandwagon.
We sure do. Other side of the bracket, we have Duke and Arizona. I just think Duke's too strong. I like Arizona a lot. They scored a lot. They scored 87 against Oregon. I just think that Duke's talent level and Cooper Flagg is just a freak. That's a very complete team up there. I do think, however, they will get caught, possibly. Bama struggled a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not ready to pull the trigger on BYU beating Bama, but I'm liking that matchup to be a better game than I thought maybe when going into this.
Yeah, Bama pulls away for sure and kept a distance, but St. Mary's, I knew they couldn't keep up with Bama, so I knew Bama was going to eventually pull away, but they didn't look absolutely stunning in this game. But they did stay distance. They ended up winning by 14 late, pull away. But I think Bama I think Bama beats BYU.
Right.
I think they get through
there's
their.
something special going on with that BYU program. They seem to be in a really good spot. And we talked about it off air. I like the fact that, John Calipari leaves Kentucky, goes to Arkansas. Arkansas got their guy. Kentucky gets Mark Pope. They got their guy. From BYU. From BYU. And then BYU, I can't remember the coach's name, but BYU gets their guy. It seems all three teams are in the Sweet 16. All three teams came out well.
Like you can't be upset anywhere on that. Houston, arguably the most consistent team in this bracket right now.
Just show up, beat people, and leave.
I think they can beat Purdue. I do. Purdue's is what I call it because Purdue gets in Purdue's way, and something happens. I think it's here. And then at the bottom, Kentucky, Tennessee, SEC battles here. We will automatically have an SEC team in the Elite Eight.
You'll probably have a couple more.
Yeah, you should. But how are we feeling Kentucky, Tennessee?
I think Tennessee's better than Kentucky.
Yeah. I think Kentucky is a little bit more sporadic than Tennessee
Kentucky has players that are capable of just taking a game over, and then who knows? Tego Owe is unbelievable. I really like Kobe Brea a lot. Mark Pope has players that are capable of taking over a game, but I think the better team
overall is Tennessee.
Keyword team is Tennessee, and I think they've been better than them all year.
Yeah,
and I got to go with I think Rick Barnes over Mark Pope. I think they run into a buzzsaw here.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think it'll be a very physical matchup, but that's our Elite Eight. After that, does the Elite Eight? Do they play immediately after?
It'll be Fridays. So it's Thursday, Friday. Then it'll be the Thursday teams will play Saturday. The Friday.
So it's just like what
Sunday.
just happened,
right? Yeah.
Gotcha. So we're gonna have to go back to back here.
When we come back here next week, we'll have a Final Four.
We'll either be in the Final Four, or we'll be eliminated. And we'll talk about it. Hopping over the Diamond Hogs. There's something special brewing up in Fayetteville, boys. The new rankings have come out. Arkansas moves up from number 3 to number 2. Tennessee is number 1. Number 2 is Arkansas. Number 3 is Georgia. 4 is Florida State. 5, Oregon State. 6, Clemson. 7, Texas. LSU drops all the way from 1 to 8. Oklahoma 9. Oregon and 10. We'll finish out for the SEC. Auburn is 11th. Bama is 12th. Vandy, who we play this week, is 14th. And Ole Miss is 15th.
Arkansas, the best 25-game start in program history, and can't get top billing on this show because of the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. Baseball team sweeps South Carolina this weekend.
These guys are not just beating people. This is 5 straight, not 5 straight games, 5 straight SEC games with double-digit runs.
Yes. They're on fire. South Carolina. We scored double digits in all 3 games. They scored single digits.
The defensive performance with double plays turned all weekend. I don't think they had an error all week. Had an unbelievable double play on Saturday from Vahiva Aloy, where he jumps up, catches a line drive, and then does the Jeter jump throw back to second to double off a runner. This team is so much fun, guys.
So Arkansas, if you look at it for just the weekend series recap, runs for Arkansas 35-9 over the 3 games. 41 hits for the Hogs, 23 for South Carolina. 9 home runs for the Hogs, 2 for South Carolina.
So all I'm going to tell you is there are teams that offensively, there are teams that have more effective individual players than Arkansas. There is not a team in America that has a deeper, more dangerous lineup in multiple spots than Arkansas right now.
Agreed.
Charles Davalon hit over 500 this weekend.
538.
From the leadoff spot.
2 home runs. 7 hits.
Both the Loy brothers just kind of did their thing, hitting the ball hard everywhere. The one guy that DVH, Dave Van Horn, had talked about, we've got to get him going, is Brent Iredale. Mission accomplished there. I think he had 3 home runs this weekend. I mean, so you got guys at the bottom like Nolan Souza, who has shown you that he can be a dynamic hitter. Justin Thomas is on a tear in the 9 hole. You get 2 home runs the other day from Ryder Helfrich. This offense is out of their minds right now.
Absolutely. So Arkansas goes undefeated throughout the week, like we said, 7-0 overall.
Yeah,
like as a group,
pitching should be the top story with this team, and it just hasn't.
We have Missouri State tomorrow, just a one game, and then we travel. This is going to be a good one. We travel to Vandy, number 14 in the country. They are 19-5. They lost 2 of them at Auburn, and then they just swept A&M this past week.
The best thing for Arkansas from this past weekend, if we're just looking past the offensive numbers, the best individual thing that happened for Arkansas. Now, Gabe Gackel's got to get things figured out in the Saturday slot, but Landon Bottle-Cheese looked a lot better on Sunday, and most importantly, Zach Root is back to being Zach Root.
Yeah,
he looked like a Friday night guy, and Arkansas was able to get that game over in 7 innings, which ended up being a complete game for Zach Root and saving the bullpen for the weekend.
Oh yeah.
Now, as far as Vandy goes, it seems to be strength on strength right now because Vandy hangs a hat on their pitching. Mm-hmm. The way our offense is rolling, something's got to give.
Yeah, so 3 guys to look at for Vandy that's not on the pitching staff. This is what I like is they're not big on home runs yet. Like, they don't have home run hitters. They do, obviously, but not consistent numbers because I'm about to show you our numbers. But they're 3 best right now. Riley Nelson, first baseman, he's batting .373, 2 home runs, 22 RBIs. Jacob Humphrey is their right fielder, batting .363, 2 home runs, 16 RBIs. And Brody Johnston, third baseman, batting .355, 4 home runs, 24 RBIs. We're going to flip that. We're going to flip that over here because I got a long...
I like that you literally flipped it. That was sweet.
Kahio Aloy. We're going to go Arkansas now, hitting. Remember, we're talking strength on strength. Their pitching is what they're going to hang their hat on. But Kahio Aloy, 417 batting average, 8 home runs, 37 RBIs. Charles Davalon batting .408, 7 home runs, and 25 RBIs.
That 7 home runs is out of a leadoff spot, by the way. And here's a crazy stat. 7 home runs on the season. You know how many times he struck out? 6.
Crazy.
He's got more home runs than he does strikeouts.
As a leadoff.
That's ridiculous.
Vahiva Aloy, 396, 10 home runs, 33 RBIs. Maxwell, 373, 6 home runs, 15 RBIs. Kozel, 363, 2 home runs, 15 RBIs.
That kid, not really great at anything, but just shows up and is good at everything. Does all the gritty things, has quietly turned into a really good addition.
Yeah.
Former Vanderbilt Commodore, by the way, came to us from Vanderbilt. So he'll be going back to his former team this week. Look for a big week out of Cam Kozel. It's got to happen, doesn't it?
And then Brent Iredale, 356, 9 home runs, and 41 RBIs. This team, we're top to bottom, but here's where this is what's going to happen. And don't be surprised if it does. Okay, don't be surprised. But our hitters going to be challenged this week. This is going to be the hardest challenge they've had all year. Vandy are 18 out of their 24 games with double-digit strikeouts from their pitching. 18 of their 24 games, double-digit. They are 15-0 at home, and they've only had one SEC series at home. It was just A&M. Their ERA total combined is 3.57, and they now have 282 strikeouts on the year.
Okay.
They can throw. I'm just saying that's going to be the battle.
They can pitch, but it seems like the key here is put the ball in play.
Yes.
It seems like the key here is to put the ball in play. I'm of the belief that good pitching always beats good hitting, but I'm willing to be wrong for a week. Now, good pitching doesn't beat good hitting all the time.
No.
Just put the ball in play, and here's the thing. Razorback fans, we're telling you up front, be prepared to take your lumps because they strike everybody out.
Yes. So
we tend to strike out a bunch sometimes. There's going to be frustrating aspects of this offensively. It's by far the best pitching they faced all year. We're going to find out if this offense is elite because remember, Arkansas lost a game on Friday night to Ole Miss in the first SEC series of the year.
Haven't looked back.
They scored 6 runs on a Friday night guy. That should have been enough to win the game. Arkansas's offense has been good all year. And this is going to be a good litmus test for just how good.
Right.
If
This is going to be good.
If you mash it, Vandy, you can mash anywhere.
Yeah, I think that they're the most complete pitching staff, but they hang their hat on it. So don't be surprised if these double-digit wins be a little bit tighter. Now, if we do get double digits out of Vandy, just know that our hitting is on.
Now, 18-0 at home. You say 18-0 at home?
15-0 at home.
15-0 at home. Arkansas is also 19-0 at home.
Yes. Here's the hard part for us, I guess you would say. It's not really all that hard. We've only played 3 games on the road, and it was an SEC matchup against Ole Miss. So we're 2-1 on the road. So that's the only thing I think that you can look at and be like, well, if something's going on there, they might not know how to handle it. They've only had to handle it for 1 series. So
right.
I think this could be a little bit of a struggle. I do think we still win the series.
If Arkansas loses this series, calm down. Max, it'll be all right.
Let's just put it like this. Out of the 3 games against A&M, and I know A&M's not Arkansas, I get it, and they're on a skid, I think they'll figure it out. They struck out A&M 16, 16, and 17 times this weekend. All 3 games.
I'll go out on a limb and say that won't happen.
That will not happen to Arkansas, but I will say that some guys are going to strike out this weekend, and that's going to be okay.
The guys in particular that have swing and miss in their game. Both the Lloyd brothers got a lot of swing and miss in there.
Yeah. They're going to pitch them away, and that's their kryptonite. That's it. Until they can square one up. They're going to try to throw them little sliders away.
Now, we'll say Vandy's 15-0 at home. No team like Arkansas is coming there yet.
Nobody. They ain't played nobody like that.
Up until this point, the next home series that Arkansas has, look, South Carolina's going to win some games in this league. They're not top half of the league.
No.
They don't have the pitching depth to be top half of the league.
I think Ole Miss is middle of the road.
Paul Maneri will get them going because he's a Hall of Fame coach, but they're not there yet.
Yeah.
And they may not get there this year. He's building something there. He will build something. He's built something everywhere he's gone.
Yeah.
Now, I think Ole Miss is really good. I think that's going to end up being a really good
win.
Going on the road and winning that series. 2 out of 3 is the goal here, folks. But even if it's 1 out of 2, calm down.
Yeah. If we win 1 this weekend, we're happy. 2, you got out of there very nicely. Again, guys, it's just winning series
Vandy.
Is great.
I don't like Vandy. I don't particularly care for their program.
Also, your field. I can't stand a turf field.
Yeah, it's not baseball.
I hate the turf field. The bounces that should never happen. Go to grass, go to dirt. I hate it. Every time I see their field and Missouri's field, it drives me insane.
It's not baseball. Between
I hate
turf, the 2 places in the SEC that when I see it, it makes my skin crawl for different reasons. Vandy for the turf because it's not baseball, it's cheating. And the dimensions of your ballpark are just stupid. You know, like they tried to do like a mini Fenway deal where it's like, they've got the big monster out there on one side. I can't stand that. And then this is gonna cause some heat. Lindsey Nelson Field in Knoxville. I can't stand it. They talk about their home run numbers all the time.
Yeah.
The deepest part of the ballpark is 390. They play in a bandbox.
Yeah.
It's a launching pad. I can't stand it. I think that
go to 400.
Punks. Number 1, I'm on both ends of the spectrum here. Both can be right. Number 1, your center field wall shouldn't be any closer than 400 feet. Everywhere. You can do whatever you want to in the corners. Center field wall got to be 400. That should be the deepest you're allowed to go.
Yes.
Nobody, you see this all the time. I think at Globe Life in Arlington when Arkansas was there earlier, center field's 409.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's stupid. I should never hit a ball over 400 feet.
And it's not a home run.
And make it out. Do whatever you want to in the power alleys, in the corners.
I agree.
Okay. Soapbox, I'm jumping off.
He's done. So, guys, we just want to, 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 3 is great here, but we definitely want to try to go 2-1. We want to win at least 1 here. You do not want to get the sweep on yourself.
I'm watching to see.
But if we go 2-1, which I think we can.
I'm watching to see what happens on Saturday. Meaning, if they stick with Gabe Gackle?
Yeah.
I need to see positive momentum in a different direction.
Yeah, and here's my thing: is if he stays on this little bit of a struggle bus, would it be crazy to put Gage Wood there and then put Gabe back in the bullpen to be that closer because Wild Thing Christian Fouch
where he thrived,
cannot throw a strike right now to save his life.
Where he thrived. Gabe Gackle was a freshman All-American as a closer.
Right.
Where he thrived.
So you can now take Fouch out of that spot.
I think you could.
And put Gabe in it.
I think here's the thing. We need Christian Fouch.
Oh, 100%. I love that he can throw that much, but he should walk out to Wild Thing.
We need him to. And when I say we need him, we don't need this Christian Fouch. We need you to get beyond whatever.
Just throw strikes, bro.
Get beyond whatever the hell this is and be you.
Christian Fouch is incredible. What's crazy to me is he's got to be showing that he's able to throw strikes in practice for them to bring him out.
Even if it's not in the closer's role, we need that arm.
If he came in and gave you, say a Zach Root gives you 5, if he came in and gave you 1.5 to 2,
just bridge it. Yeah,
just go 6 to 7, or even 6 to 7.5. Like you can give me 4 outs, and then we'll bring in our closer.
Look, we're rooting for the kid. We got to have it.
Oh, he's a stud.
It's mental at this point. It's not physical. You're throwing the ball 100 miles an hour. It's not physical.
Right. Like DVH ain't going to put you out there if he doesn't have confidence in you some way. Because if not, he'd put you in the midweek and that's it and let you work it out through there. That's where you're going to work it out. Because if the offense doesn't get started against Vandy and we're up 4-2, we can't have that.
You got to, man.
He only saw 2 batters.
That's the thing, though. You've got to keep running him out in situations like that in order for him to – you got to get past it.
Guy we didn't see a whole lot of, too, is McIntyre. I love him in the middle as well because he can get you 2 innings.
Well, Will McIntyre is so much more effective when he's only used 1 time a weekend.
Right.
And I think
and they try to save him, too, because he can be a massive bailout.
And I think that's the big question on this bullpen. Christian Fouch has got to get past whatever it is, whatever the hang-up is.
Him and Gabe.
We got to get through this. Now, I'm just going to go say full disclosure, I think he's fine. But this is back-to-back weeks where we're in the 3rd inning and our starter's not in the game.
Can't be a thing for forever.
It can't happen. And I think it's evident no matter what the role is, this team needs Gage Wood back healthy.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're not rushing him because it's clear he's not the most talented arm on the team, but he's the most important piece here. You've got to have him back healthy and ready to roll.
Yeah. Predictions?
I'm going to tentatively say Vandy takes 2 out of 3.
Okay. I still think Hogs go 2-1. I do think our offense, how hot it is, Vandy doesn't score a crazy amount of runs. Like they don't go yard a lot. They're playing at home 15 of their 25 games. Or 20 at home, and there's still 2 home runs, 4 home runs, 2 home runs. They're not power guys. They're contact guys.
They play gap to gap. And in that ballpark, that works because they've got weird dimensions out there. You can play gap to gap, and you, like we've said, turf field, funny bounces, the whole deal.
I just trust our lineup more. That's it. It has nothing. I trust our lineup more to get to a pitcher. I don't think 1 through 6, anybody in the country bat for bat is as good 1 through 6 as we are. I think 7, 8, 9 once, and they got it going a little bit this weekend. If 7, 8, 9 gets it going and that whole lineup just stays dangerous the whole time, I don't see how a pitcher, but I wasn't a pitcher, but there are times in innings when we're at the bottom of a lineup or we're 6, 7, 8. This shouldn't be that difficult. Like if you throw strikes here, we're not too afraid of these guys unless you're just throwing some lukewarm pecker high.
I can tell you the pitcher is looking at the lineup going, okay, I've got that inning off.
Yeah. And then when you normally get to a leadoff guy, he's going to be a scrapper, but 2 through 5 is like, okay, here's the meat. We've got to get through this. And that's why those innings are more important. And that's why you see a lot more pitchers get fired up whenever they shut down the heartbeat of the lineup. But I just think that our heartbeat is so big and on right now. We dominated this weekend. And that doesn't happen in the SEC too often. I think we can get to these guys, maybe not early, but the second, third time through a lineup, I think that our timing, our hitting will prevail, and I think that they don't score enough.
Okay. You're on the road against a top 15 opponent. Let's take the safe route and say you drop this series.
Yeah.
But because I think Vandy looks at it and says, okay, we've got them at home. We should take 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I think we win Friday and Sunday. and Saturday is the question mark.
Given where most staffs are on Sundays, Arkansas should score a lot of runs in every Sunday game.
Yeah.
If it gets to a Sunday game, Arkansas is going to score a bunch
I like
of
our
runs.
odds there for sure. And then Beidelshees is not, or Gage Wood or whoever we decide there is not a Sunday starter. I mean, they're a Friday, Saturday guy that just fit in a Sunday slot.
This team's going to be a top 8 seed.
They should be,
Okay?
yes.
This team will be a top 8 seed. There are not 7 teams in the country. There are not 7, 8 teams in the country that are better than Arkansas.
Yeah.
They don't exist. You're allowed to feel like this team is special because they are.
Yeah. You're
allowed to feel like there's not a team out there that's really better than we are, because there's not. Win everything. Arkansas is going to win a national championship. We all understand this is easily one of the top 5 programs in America. The one thing missing is the national title. It will happen eventually. When it does happen, I won't care what happened throughout the season or how this team's viewed historically or whatever. With a roster like this, why not put yourself in a position that when you do knock down the door, if you do it with this team, they're going to have to say, was that the best college baseball team ever?
Right.
I mean, this team has the capability of being that. Right now, 28 games is the halfway point. There's 56 regular season games. Arkansas's 25 in, they're 23-2. They're not going to keep that exact pace up, but if you get to 28 and you're 26-2, that literally puts you on pace for what? 52-4? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Enjoy the fact that this team is special.
Because they are.
And let them be special.
They very much are.
You're not going to get beat in postseason because there is some magical haunted number next to your name. You're going to get beat because somebody outplayed you. Arkansas lost in 2021. It wasn't because they were ranked number 1 and there was a curse on them. It was because the top 6 hitters in their lineup decided to take 2 games off and they lost to NC State. It's not, I'm probably the most unsuperstitious baseball guy in the history of the world, because baseball guys have this thing where it's like we're supposed to be superstitious, and I'm not. It's just a case of you got to play better than the other guy. As fans, I'm not a player. Like when people say, "Oh, don't talk about it, you'll jinx it." What? Huh? Like, if we don't talk about it, we don't have a job. We're supposed to talk about it.
Yeah.
This team is good enough to win the national championship. Embrace it and expect it.
I believe in jinxes of the commentator jinx, to where you state the obvious so the opposite happens. And I believe that in any sport of like, he's 8 for 8 from the free throw line. That's the commentator jinx. He hadn't walked a guy in 25 batters walk. Like, it's just those, he hadn't given up a hit in this many, boom. Like, don't talk about the obvious because it don't need to be spoke about. We get it. I get what you're saying. But how about waiting till he misses to say, wow, he went 11 of 11 from the free throw line and missed the 12th.
This team is good enough to win a national championship.
I do as
and
well.
That I think they should be, if all things go according to plan for the rest of this season. They're going to be in a position where a team is going to have to come into Ball Walker and beat them twice in order to keep them away from Omaha. And I just don't see that happening. If it does, it's not going to be because we're jinxed. It's going to be because somebody showed up and outplayed us.
Yeah. Woo damn pig. Woo damn pig.
Hogs by 91.
Hogs by 1,000,000, damn it. Serious question. Would you rather fight one lion-sized hamster, or would you rather fight 50 hamster-sized lions?
It's not even close. Give me the hamster.
You want the big lion hamster.
It's not even close.
But he's the size of a lion.
Okay. And he's got the temperament of a damn hamster.
Right.
Okay.
That's a big hamster.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's a hamster. These okay. I'm getting worked up. These little bastards running around, the little hamster lions, they have the temperament of the king of the friggin' jungle.
Yeah. 50-0.
There's 50 of one of me. You get eaten alive. It's like piranhas. They would eat you alive. I'm kicking that hamster's ass because he's a hamster. He's scared of everything. And if he's not, all I got to do is get the big ass wheel, the water bottle with the. Yeah, I'm kicking that hamster's ass.
Okay.
was an easy one. That
Okay, yeah.
didn't take any thought.
Okay, I just want to see.
You would take.
I'd probably go the same route. I would, because I'd want to wrangle and ride the hamster just to.
Make it aggressive towards everyone else, and then I'd take over the world.
Okay, with your lion-sized hamster.
Right. Oh, hamster.
What would you name him?
Huh. A lion-sized hamster. We're probably going like Mufasa.
Mufasa. I call mine Brutus.
Brutus works too.
Brutus.
And when he walks, like the theme's on doom 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 doom
Yeah,
doom
yeah.
doom 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 doom. Yeah.
But I would imagine the teeth on that thing would look scary at that size. But that was just my random question today. I get those all the time.
Yeah.
Welcome to my brain.
With the big ass, I'm just like the big ass hamster wheel. Yeah, the hamster. It's not even close. It's not even close. Those little lion bastards would eat you alive.
There's 50 of them. They're little guys, though.
Yeah, I'm not taking on 50 of anything that's got the temperament of a freaking lion.
Okay. That's going to round up episode 44 of the We'll See You Later podcast, brought to you by Happy's Energy and Nutrition, the best energy and nutrition on the planet. Also, Liberton Home Repairs, quality home repairs here in Little Rock that you can trust. 405-600-8363 is their number if you need any home repairs. 3 things to live by before you guys get out of here. Number 1, don't piss into the wind. Number 2, Hogs by 1 million. Ooh. And number 3, and probably the most important, never, ever, ever trust a fart. And until next time, guys, we'll see you later.